Hello everyone and welcome back to another speed build. My name is Elecktrey and for this video we are going to be making a swamp for Huldra. And as you may know, my island is named Huldra, and that's because I named her, or the island as in her, I named my island after the creature Huldra, which we are going to be talking about today. So as you can see, this area is already terraformed and made very beautiful and cute and hilly and lush and overgrown because we did this on stream. So if you're interested in see how we made this, you can go back and look at that. But for this video I'm just going to be decorating this and tell you more about Norse mythology and Nordic fairy tales, because that's why we are all here. So I guess I will just jump right into it. There is so much to say about Huldra, which is why I think she is a very interesting thing. So I'll try to summarize everything I can in a somewhat organized manner. Huldra is a mythological creature from Scandinavian folklore. She is known as a seductive and alluring woman with long flowing hair, and she also has a cow's tail, which is very important. Her name means hidden or secret. She is said to reside in the deep woods, in the mountain, or under the ground. Also around swamps and lakes and areas like that, which is why we are making a swamp. Huldra is often depicted as a temptress, using her beauty and charm to lure men into the forest. Once there, she can either bless them with good fortune or curse them with misfortune. Some stories even say that Huldra can take the form of a human woman and marry a man, but only if he promises to never look at her tail. If he breaks this promise, she will vanish and never return. Despite her seductive nature, Huldra is also associated with fertility and abundance. She is said to be a guardian of the forest and a protector of wild animals. In some tales, Huldra is depicted as a kind and helpful spirit, assisting lost travelers and offering guidance to those in need. The origins of Huldra are somewhat unclear, but it's believed that she has roots in ancient Scandinavian folklore. The earliest mentions of her date back to the 13th century, but she was likely a part of oral tradition long before that. Over time, her story has evolved and taken on various interpretations. And while we are talking about Huldra, I also think it's important to bring up another mythological Scandinavian creature, which is Nøkken. Nøkken, as I said, is another mythological creature and is often depicted as a male water spirit known for his ability to lure people into the water and drown them. He is believed to inhabit river, lakes, and other bodies of water throughout Scandinavia. Nøkken is known for his shape-shifting abilities and can take on the form of a handsome man or a beautiful horse to lure unsuspecting people into the water. Once they are close enough, he will drag them below the surface and drown them. Some stories also suggest that he can play enchanting music on his fiddle, which can also lure people to their deaths. Nøkken is sometimes also portrayed as a tragic figure, cursed to spend his days in the water and unstable to leave his watery domain. In some stories, he is said to be capable of falling in love with humans, but his love is always doomed to end in tragedy. Like many mythological creatures, Nøkken's origin is unclear, but his story has been passed down through generations of Scandinavian folklore. His story serves as a warning kinda to people about the dangers of the water and the importance of being cautious around bodies of water. And at least when I was young, I kind of learned that Nøkken is like the male version of Huldra, which I think is kind of interesting. So Huldra mostly belongs in the forest and the mountains, which is why we have this lush little hill going on in this area, and then Nøkken is like in the water and the swamps. And because of that, Colton is the one that is going to be living in this area because he is a white horse, so that was, iconic girl boss. He is living the best life. And since these are just mythological creatures, nothing is real, everything is just stories, I feel like Nøkken and Huldra often can be depicted as the same thing or have a lot of similar things about each other. But overall, I would say that Huldra is the forest spirit and Nøkken is the water spirit, so I feel like a swamp is the perfect connection of those two things. Anyways, let's go back to Huldra and I will try to read you some fairy tales and stories about her. And I will try to give the appropriate context of things because Norwegian fairy tales are kind of weird, to be honest, and super strange. So hopefully these will be kind of interesting and also make a little bit of sense for you guys. The first one is a very short one, but it's about how Huldra or Huldr people, because there can be multiple Huldras and also, you know, male Huldrs and stuff like that, they can also swap kids with humans, which is kind of scary. So usually if they see that a child is sick, they will take the human child and swap it with a child of their own. And they call these children's byttinger in Norwegian, which just means trading. So like a swapling or switchling, because they're switching babies. So here is a very short story about that. A mother had experienced that the underworldlings had taken her child from her crib and instead put a switchling in it with a large head and staring eyes. It didn't do anything else than eat and drink. In her despair, she went to the neighbor's wife and asked for advice. The neighbor's wife said that she should carry the switchling to her kitchen, set on the stove, and fire up boiling water and 2 eggshells. This will make the switchling laugh, and if it laughed, that would be the end of him. The mother did as the neighbor's wife said, and when she put the eggshells in the water, the switchling said, "Oh, I am now old, like the forest in the west, but I have never seen anyone boil eggshells." And for context, this is kinda rhyming in Norwegian, but I couldn't make that work in English. Then the switchling started to laugh, and while it laughed, a bunch of underworldlings appeared. They carried the right human child, they put it on the stove, and they took the switchling with them. So you can interpret that how you want. I am unsure if she got her child back safely or if they actually put it in the stove, but we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to make this any darker than it already is. And for another story, I'm going to tell you the story of how the Huldr people came to life. Once upon a time, the Lord was out walking and he came to Eve's house to rest for a while. When Eve saw him, she was in the middle of bathing her children. Some of them were clean and well behaved, but some were still dirty and unkempt. Eve took the dirty ones and hid them in the forest. When the Lord came, the children ran to him and he took them on his lap and played with them, and they were so happy. But when he asked Eve if she didn't have any more children, she denied it. Then the Lord became angry and said, "All that is hidden shall be revealed." And with that, he left. When Eve went to look for the children in the forest, they had become strangely weird and troll-like, with long noses and ugly snouts, and they were so angry that she didn't know what to do with them, and chased them away into the woods. From them became the Huldr folk. Often Huldra is described as beautiful, but it is a false appearance. It is mostly the young Huldr girls who came so captivating with her shiny brown hair, blue eyes, and rose-red mouth that anyone could wish for. She wears blue clothes, adorned with silver ribbons, rings, and jewelry like a princess, and is graceful and fine in all her movements. And many young men she has lured into her trap, enchanted by her beauty, but just as often they become repulsed by her when they have noticed her long cow tail, which she has tried to hide for too long. There are many tales and legends about marriages between Christian men and Huldrs, but the Huldra always loses her tail when she comes to the altar. It is worse for a Christian girl if she marries a Huldr man, and she becomes a Huldr herself and must live in the mountains and never see God's beautiful sun and day again. The Huldr folk lives in hills, hence the name hill folk, underground, but also in rocks, hammers, and boulders. The Huldr folk engage in animal husbandry and farming, just like the farmer himself. The Huldr milk is essentially fat and fine. If you can be so brave and you see them that you throw steel over them, you can own them and they become like other cattle. In the summer, the Huldra mostly stays in the higher valleys, but in the fall, when people return home from the mountains, the Huldra moves into the barns. So one must be careful when visiting there during the winters, as one can easily disturb the Huldr's peace. So it has some weird details for sure, the fact that you can milk them, but I think it's a very interesting story nonetheless, that it takes inspiration from Christianity and that the Huldr people are like the rejects of Eve. But you know, you can interpret it how you want. So now you have maybe learned a little bit more about Nordic fairy tales and mythology and all that good stuff. I know that the stories of Huldra are kind of strange, but I think she's a very interesting figure, and I think she has some really cool stories related to her. There are like 1,000 stories of her because she's like this you know, people talked about her, people say they had met her multiple times, and she's like roaming around everywhere, so there's so many different stories about a lot of the same encounters, kinda. But I really like it anyways, and I'm happy I could share some of this with you, and I feel like she has the perfect creepy vibe for this island, or the kind of stories that I'm looking for, so I am very happy about that. And since we have talked a lot about the fairy tales now, or mythology, I don't know if you could call it a fairy tale or a mythology, I guess it's kind of both. I will be talking a bit about the build, because we have been doing so much stuff now, and I did have some terraforming I needed to do here at the end, which I didn't do at stream, but I think the little waterfall here really added to the build. I know it's not that much items and stuff for this, but I think it looks really cool either way. The custom design really carries this build, and I will leave it in the descriptions if I remember, because I think it's so cool, and you know, more people should use it, especially if you're making a swamp or something. It also had a lighter option, but I felt like the darker one fitted more to the kind of dark stories of Huldra and Nøkken than everything, you know. And overall, I think the hill we made on stream, I think it looks so cool, and I feel like it really adds something different to the build, and not just have it be like a little pit or a little valley. Like now it's something different. Now it has a cool new shape, and it's really lush and it's very green, and you know, we always like very lush and very green things. This build turned out to be one of the longer ones, because I was kind of confused about what to do, especially since there weren't that many items. So I was like, do I need to add more? Is it cluttered enough? Do I need more flowers? Do I need different colors? And I also accidentally kept picking up the wrong thing sometimes, which is annoying as always. But we did make something in the end, which I'm very happy about how this turned out. I feel like I said that about everything, but I'm very happy about how this build, or island, I mean, I'm very happy about how this island is turning out, and I feel like I'm staying true to the theme I wanted from the beginning, which makes me very happy in general. But okay, I will stop talking about how happy I am with this island. You all know I am. But I think we are also making a lot of progress really fast, because I'm making speed builds and I'm also doing streams, which also helps. And when I'm streaming, I also get some help from you guys to decide what to do and stuff, so that is always fun and that is always appreciated. I will try to make as many videos and streams and stuff as I can before exam season. I don't know how active I'm going to be able to be. It's kind of hard to say, and I wish I was able to plan more ahead of time than what I'm currently doing, but I'm already busy as it is, so we just have to live in the moment and do what we can. And we're doing great so far, which, you know, is good. Anyway, I will do my best to continue to be active. I also, you know, Tears of the Kingdom for Zelda is coming out on one of the days I have my exam, which is very sad, but I hope to be able to stream it anyway when I get home. I have already pre-ordered the game, so I really hope it arrives at the right date this time, because when I pre-ordered Pokemon Scarlet, it didn't arrive until a few days later, which I'm still salty about. Because what's the point of pre-ordering if it's not arriving, you know? I feel like that's just such a scam. Anyway, here you see like the top view of the area, which I feel like is the most cool thing about this area, how it looks from above. And at this point I was like, I'm almost already finished with the build, so I'm gonna decorate the area around it. Because for some reason I thought this speed build was very short, so I felt like I had to add more stuff. Even though that wasn't the case at all. So I thought a little stairs there would be really cute, so I did that. I have no idea where those stairs are going to lead to, but that's an issue for another day. As everything I do on this island, I'm not gonna take any responsibilities right away. I'm just gonna postpone all my struggles and questions. But yes, I'm doing a little natural path over here, so nothing special, just a little transition area-esque thing. which, I mean, most islands, or most of my islands, are basically just transition areas, but they are important and they look cute in my eyes. I'm still really loving this kind of path I've chosen, and the little rocks. I feel like it looks so Norwegian, like you're on a little mountain hiking adventure, I don't know. So the only reasonable thing I had to add here was a destination signpost, because I think that would kind of fit with that. You can either go into the swamp or up the stairs or into this little valley here, you know. We have a lot of options at Huldra. It's an adventure for the whole family. And also the colors of it being like this dark brown and kind of worn down, I think it looks really cool. I just really like it. I feel like a lot of the customizations options for a lot of different items are kind of underrated. But anyway, the video is almost actually soon over after all my rambling that never ends, basically. So please like the video if you liked the video, so I know that you liked it and I can continue making more videos that I know that you like. And also subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet, so you can come back and watch more of my videos. And also subscribing is very fun and it's free and I very much recommend it. You can also join the Discord server, which is linked in the description, which is also a lot of fun, like everything on my channel is. So yeah, that's everything I have to say, so thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!